The baseball bat slammed against the front door, rattling the frame so hard that Salina thought it might crack open any second. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she pressed her daughter close against her side. The shadows of men loomed through the frosted glass pane. 3 of them, maybe 4, faces twisted with rage, their shouts muffled but unmistakably hateful. "Get out of our neighborhood," one voice barked. Another voice, deeper, angrier, "You don't belong here. We told you once. We won't tell you again." Salina's fingers trembled as she tried to punch 911 into her phone for the 3rd time, but the line was still dead. The wires had been cut. She knew it. She'd seen the snipped cables hanging like veins on the side of the house when she stepped outside earlier, just before the shouting began. Her daughter's small voice whispered against her arm. "Mommy, are they going to hurt us?" Salina swallowed the lump in her throat. "No, baby. I won't let them." But even as she said it, the front door shook again with another brutal slam. Just a week ago, this house had been a dream come true. A warm yellow 2-story on the corner lot, with a small garden she planned to fill with roses. Now it felt like a cage. The neighbors had been cold from the moment she moved in. They never waved. They never smiled. And when the first note appeared in her mailbox, "Go back where you came from," she thought it was a sick joke. But now, with men at her door carrying bats and crowbars, she understood the truth. It was never a joke. The window beside the porch shattered. Glass sprayed across the living room floor as a thick boot forced its way through. Salina grabbed the fireplace poker, her only weapon, and raised it with shaking hands. Her daughter clung tighter, her little fingernails digging into her arm. One of the men climbed halfway inside, his face lit by the street lamp. He was middle-aged, white, with greasy hair plastered against his forehead and a sneer curling his lips. His eyes burned with something beyond anger. It was entitlement, venomous and primal. "You've had your chance," he hissed. "This is our street." Salina's knees nearly buckled, but something inside her, rage, fear, love, hardened into steel. She swung the poker with everything she had. It connected with the man's arm, sending him sprawling back onto the porch with a howl. "Call the police!" She screamed to her daughter, though she knew the phones were dead. "Just pretend, baby. Just yell it!" Her daughter nodded and began shouting into the dead receiver, "Help! Police, hurry!" Her high-pitched voice cut through the night, through the pounding fists on the door. The men hesitated. Fear flickered across their faces. They wanted to scare her, maybe hurt her, but being caught in the act, that was something else entirely. One of them muttered, "Cops might come." Another growled, "She won't call." They never call. But Salina kept her poker raised, her breathing harsh, her glare unflinching. "You picked the wrong house," she spat, though her whole body trembled. "You picked the wrong woman." And then sirens, faint at first, then growing louder, closer, wrapping the night in their electric wail. Red and blue lights cut across the street, reflecting in the shards of broken glass on her floor. The men scattered like roaches, dropping their weapons as they fled into the darkness between houses. By the time the police cars screeched to a halt, the street was empty except for Salina and her daughter, clutching each other in the doorway of a broken dream home. The officers rushed up, asking questions, scanning the property. One of them, an older black sergeant with kind eyes, looked at the jagged glass, the cut wires, the fear etched on Salina's face. He didn't ask the obvious question because he already knew the answer. He simply said, "You're safe now. We've got you." But Salina knew better. Safe was temporary. Safe was fragile. Safe meant the men might come back tomorrow or next week. Emboldened by the silence of neighbors who had watched but never intervened, as her daughter sobbed quietly against her chest, Salina lifted her chin and stared at the flashing lights painting her new home in red and blue. She wasn't leaving. Not tonight. Not tomorrow. This was her house, her street, her right. They could try to break her windows. They could try to shatter her peace. But they would never shatter her resolve. Because tonight, as terrifying as it was, had proved something the men outside had never understood. She was stronger than their hate. If this story gripped you, please like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories that expose injustice and celebrate courage.